exactly what should happen in a Dogman sequel. Yes, Dogman 2. Alright, out of my deep dive into the Dogman literary canon, Lord of the Fleas is easily my favourite so far, and honestly, it just makes so much sense as the next movie. Why? Because it gives Petey so much to do. Early on we see Petey's backstory. He was once in a group called the Critter Scouts, but got wrongfully blamed for chaos and kicked out. In response he went full on villain, disbanding the Scouts and ruining things for Piggy, Crunky and Bub, who later became the Fleas, a gang bent on revenge. And listen, this is why I need this to be adapted next. This book deepens Petey's arc so much. It keeps his redemption story going, but still explores his past mistakes. It doesn't undo the growth like in Cat Kid, but rather actually builds upon it. I mean, there's a moment where Piggy is trash talking little Petey, trying to get Petey back into crime, and Petey thinks back to a scene from an earlier book, one we actually saw in that first movie. It's such a powerful moment of growth, and I love that it directly ties into the emotional arc of the first movie. Oh, and look, Dogman 2 must have the Fleas. Why? Because they're fun villains, but unlike Petey, they stay bad. And honestly, in this current animation landscape, that's kind of refreshing. We've seen it so much in animation. Every villain has to be redeemed or they're just misunderstood, but sometimes we just need bad guys. No, not them. We should teach kids that people can change, yes, and I believe everyone has the power to, but not everyone who does bad things is simply a victim of circumstance. Sometimes, people suck. And Lord of the Fleas perfectly balances that message, showing redemption is possible for Petey, but also that not everyone earns it. Long story short, the Fleas need to be the villain in Dogman 2. If you want to pull from more material, Bull of the Wild could also be tied in. Dogman found Sandoff, I think that one's kind of a banger, right? And I mention that because the Fleas are back here and have a lot to do. Oh, and one more thing, and this is very, very important, so listen up. The movie has to be called Dogman, the Fleaquel. And if you do not think that is the greatest sequel title in cinematic history, I don't know what to tell you. Universal, hire me, I'm cheap. Real cheap.